Morning everyone, so today I'm going to be doing a grooming video of my winter grooming routine with Marley. Now obviously he is good and lucky, so he's going to need a really good groom today, so I decided I'm going to give him a full groom. So I'm going to go through everything I do in my grooming process when I do a full groom with Marley in the winter. So these are all the brushes I use in my grooming routine, and they all do something slightly different, so they're all equally as important. And then I use some different products as well, so hoof oil and my Goodbye Fly spray, and we've got a cloth to clean his feet. So I have actually filmed this video before, but I sat down to edit and my footage was all corrupted, like every single one, so obviously that video never happened, so we're doing it again. And luckily Marley's really dirty today, so let's get going. The magic brush is great at getting mud out like this. It's so effective against dry mud. It really is magic. I mean, look at that. Wow, not helping. Look this way. Like bam, and the mud is gone. So once I've got all the mud off him, I then go over him with the body brush. So you have two kinds of body brushes. One short bristled. This one's actually a dandy brush. They do slightly different things, but again I'll explain that when I get to this one. But the body brush is just like your general brush used for their body. For the body. So this one again can be used pretty much everywhere. It's a nice soft bristle brush, it's a lot softer. And so going to be used all over his body, so I'm going to give him a quick flick off with this one. Once I've used the magic brush, it's good to use this one just to then continue getting all that mud and dirt and grease out of his coat. So next up is the dandy brush. So the dandy brush has really long bristles. Commonly, I know like young people, gross, I'm young. I know like kids and things refer to it as the flicky brush because that's essentially what it does. It's a really good brush. And to use in the final stages of grooming, so it's always the last brush I use because this brush is used just to flick off fine bits of dirt. So for example, like, shing, so the whole aim of grooming really is just to lift the dirt closer and closer to the surface and then remove it from the body. So the magic brush gets all your mud dried on and actually works really deep within the coat to bring any dust up. Your body brush then does that a bit further, so anything that's loosened by the magic brush gets pulled up further by the body brush. And then your final stage is usually your dandy, which flicks it all off the surface, and that's usually when you start to see them looking a bit cleaner. I mean, from when we started and from now, I can already see the difference just from using the body brush in Marley's coat and how it's shinier because I'm getting all that dust up and out. So the final stage now is to run over him with the dandy brush and quickly just flick off any excess dirt, mud and loose hairs. So the last brush I tend to use tends to be this little guy, and this is a face brush used specifically for the face. Because the face is so sensitive, it's got its own little brush which is a little bit softer and a bit smaller, so obviously the face is quite a small area, so I haven't got to try and fit something massive like this on his face. I can just use this one which is really nice and small and made for purpose. So once Marley's body's all done, I then move down to his feet. So the first thing I do with the feet is just give them a wipe over with a wet cloth. This is just to get all of the mud off them. This tends to be because I don't like getting muddy hands picking up the feet. I mean, who does? But another really good reason I do this is just so that you can look at what's going on with the foot underneath as well. If there are any really tough parts of mud, then I can use my hoof pick to just kind of scrape those off and then wipe off the rest, because it's just not really easy to get like chunks of mud off with just a cloth. So I actually hosed him off the other day and I noticed he had a bruise on his left hind hoof, which I wouldn't have noticed if I hadn't have washed the mud off. So it's always a good idea just to make sure you're doing that fairly regularly, so to kind of check up on how their feet are. So once that's done, I just pick out his feet as normal. This isn't really like a winter grooming thing, so something you really do kind of all the time. But obviously it's more important in winter because of all the mud. They're more likely to have mud like collecting in their feet. Pick up stones from anywhere where like footing's being loosened by rain. So it's just really important, again, just to check quite regularly what's going on with his feet. So that's what I'm doing now. Marley is quite good for doing his feet, and luckily he does pick his feet up, so I don't really have to worry too much about getting muddy hands. So once his feet are clean and a little bit drier, I then add some hoof oil. So hoof oil is a really good product that I tend to use just to help protect the hooves and just kind of maintain them. It's really good at locking in moisture. In when it's like muddy and cold like this, it can really dry out the hoof. So it's just a really good idea to just kind of help them out a little bit and add a little bit of oil. So next up we have Marley's mane. So Marley's mane is currently plaited because I'm training it over. So his mane used to lie on the left hand side, so I'm training it to lie on the right, which means it's got to stay plaited just to help it stay on that side. So normally I would just brush his mane through, but because it's plaited, it's a little bit more complicated than that now. So usually I redo the plait every 2 days, but because he's had a great old roll and he's got loads of mud in his mane, I'm going to take them all out today, brush his mane out, get all the mud out of it, and then replait it. So that's what I'm going to do now. now Marley's all done, the finishing touch is a quick spray all over his body with the grooming spray once again. This is going to really help bring out his natural shine, really enhance his coat, and of course double the fly repellent, so it means he's going to be nice and happy out in the field. And that is Marley all done. I think he's really happy with his new look. So I really hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Please let me know what you guys do, something that you do differently, anything that you do the same, any ideas you've got watching this video. It'd be really great to hear from you all. And please keep a lookout for our next video. But for now, it is goodbye.